and we are live at the Fox Chapel Racquet Club in Pittsburgh for the 2019 Men's President's Cup Final. I am joined by Tour Director Shannon Vincent and Region 1 President John Lubau and Region 2 Captain Jeff Morneau. And we're going to have the lines released for the matchup for the men's final, which will stream live in about 15 minutes. So the honors goes first to Region 1, Line 5.
Line 5 is Brett Kraft and Eric Fay.
Line 5 is myself, Jeff Morneau, and Marco Grangerio.
Got those, Tour Director Shannon Vincent?
Eric. Brett.
Line 4 for Region 1.
DeRose Lubau.
Line 4 for Region 2.
Durant Mitchell.
Line 3 for Region 1.
George and Powers.
Line 3 for Region 2.
Martin Bostrom and Sebastian Bredberg.
Line 2 for Region 1.
Mick and Sven.
For Region 2.
John Hughes and Max LePivert. I added a little French to that.
And Line 1, Region 1.
Drew and Blake.
Line 2.
Line
Line 1, Region 2.
Wanaraya and Mark Parsons.
All right, we'll have the tour director, Shannon, give us the green light, and we will be back live, 5:30 kickoff.
All right, we're live.
Welcome to the finals of the Men's President's Cup. I'm Brad Easterbrook alongside Mark Fischel, and we're pleased to bring you here a great matchup between Region 2 and Region number 1. So Mark, why don't you tell us a little bit about our players in our match here?
Well, Brad, this is a rematch of a match that was played earlier today. These two teams came out of the same pool, and in that match, Region 2 beat Region 1 3-2. And the last court was a super tiebreak, won by the Region 2 team on court 5, 10-7. So this is court 2, and on the near side, the left-hander is Mick Irdoja, and the right-hander is Sven Burus, and on the far side is Max LePivert wearing the white hat. Not that he's a good guy, Brad.
Not at all.
And then the lefty next to him is John Hughes.
Well, this looks to be a terrific matchup. Why don't you just briefly tell us a little bit about the President's Cup, Mark?
So it's an interregional event, and the country is divided into 7 regions, and an 8th independent team is added. They break the teams down into 2 pools of 4. They have round-robin play, and the top 2 teams from each pool come out. 1 plays 2. And in this case, Region 2 beat Region 5, the Chicago area team. And then Region 1, which is the New York metro area, beat the Region 4 team, which is the home team, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Cleveland.
Yeah, so these two teams, it's not a big surprise that Region 2 and Region 1 are here. Is it, Mark?
You know, it's interesting, Brad. These have been 2 of the best regions for a while, and everybody's expected this matchup. But I think it's the first time they played in the finals since 2016, which was in Darien, which was a real close match decided by a super breaker in the deciding court. So it looks like Sven Burus is getting ready to serve. I don't know that Sven and Mick have ever played together before.
I don't think they have. I think it's an interesting matchup. You know, Burus, very solid, good volleyer, got a good serve, consistent, generally can make good choices out there. Forehand can be spotty, he's got a good backhand. And Irdoja is extremely athletic, a lot of spins, got a huge forehand.
What's the over-under in the number of times Irdoja hits the ground?
Oh, you mean actually falls onto the
Yeah,
ground?
actually falls onto the ground.
How about, do you think it's more than Hughes?
Yeah, I got him. I think he's going to beat Hughes in that regard.
All right, then we're going to go with 2.
You know, Hughes is just diving for the ball. With Irdoja, there's always some drama.
All right, so we look forward to this. Now, what's fun about the President's Cup is the players don't often play together. So the teamwork is an interesting part of it.
Irdoja and Burus both possess terrific serves. We'll see what kind of factor that is in the match.
All right, so Mick Irdoja to serve here.
And Brad, we should talk a little bit about the format because it's different than normal play.
Yep, these guys are going to play 2 out of 3 sets, but both sets are going to play a tiebreaker at 5 games all. And if they split sets, the third set is actually decided by what's called a super tiebreaker, which is played like a regular tiebreaker but goes to 10 points.
And we're playing deciding point when you get to deduce.
Yeah, so that means it's no-ad games. So the format's a little faster, and it's really for bragging rights more than anything else.
There's one for your team as John Hughes does head first into
Oh,
the
that's
net.
not good. It's head first, but into the net post.
Yeah, it looked like he went into the net and then bounced off it, but maybe we can get a replay of that.
Holy cow, here comes Shannon Vincent.
Wow, you just hate to see that. And for those of you who aren't aware, Hughes is the #1 seed in the Nationals draw tomorrow.
Wow.
We have that again, Kelly? No, we can't show it to you.
So no replay there, but, like you've talked about, this is between the regions and it's fun bragging rights, but it's certainly not something, anybody wants to get injured right before Nationals in.
Well, the format was changed in 2013. The Indian Trail, that was the first time we opened it up to everybody and created the pool play and the independent team. And Region 2 has won it every single year since then. And some people think that Region 2 is a little bit arrogant about their winning it.
Well,
Some people.
when you win it 6 or 7 times in a row, I guess you reserve the right to be arrogant about it.
So Region 1 would really like to take this from Region 2. And why don't we go through the rest of the lineup, Brad, while we're waiting for John Hughes?
Sure. So on court 1, for the Region 1 team, and here goes Mick Irdoja again, is Blake Anderson and Drew Broderick against Juan Araya and Mark Parsons.
That's a rematch from an earlier match that Broderick and Anderson won in straight sets.
And that's interesting. Now, Ryan and Parsons are a 3rd seed here at Nationals. Second seed, sorry. They just moved into it at the last tournament. And you wonder if any of that will carry over. But that's a great win for Anderson and Broderick. All right, this is our second match here, which is Irdoja and Burus against LePivert and Hughes. Line 3 for Region 1 is Mark Powers and George Wilkinson, which you can see on the top of our screen.
Actually, at the top of the screen
that's
is Durant Mitchell.
Yeah, that's line 4.
All
right, so line 3 would be Mark Powers and George Wilkinson against Martin Bostrom and Sebastian Bredberg. Line 4 is Lou
1540.
Bowen-DeRose.
Sorry, Brad. 1540.
No problem against
40,
Durant and
15.
Mitchell. And then line 5 is Kraft and Fay for Region 1 against Morneau and Grangero.
So, Brad, you played President's Cup many years. How differently did you play than you would in a normal match?
You play hard, but you try not to expend yourself for the tournament. So that's really it. You play as hard as you can, but you want to make sure you have fresh legs for the tournament over the weekend. But back then when I was playing, we played real matches, actually, Mark.
Right. Best of 3 sets,
Yep.
played out full.
This is a little bit of an abbreviated format with the no ad on the games. Tiebreakers at 5-all and a super tiebreaker for the 3rd set.
Have you noticed the players playing any differently than they normally play?
I think the players want to win.
Yeah,
I think the
agree.
bragging rights are a big deal, and I think there is a little something to what you said before. People want to unseat, Region 2 who's won it so many years in a row.
Yeah, tomorrow's a relatively easy day for most of the male players. They don't have a lot of matches. Most of them, I think virtually all the players playing now are playing one match tomorrow.
Right. Every single player here on this list, except for 1 or 2, is a seeded player in the tournament tomorrow.
Yeah, I think Eric Fay is the only one on that list, and maybe Brett Kraft. Brett Kraft's not playing, I don't think. So everybody else is seeded and will get a bye in the first round. 15 love. And you can see right off the bat that Sven Burus is much more comfortable with the backhand than he is with the forehand.
Yes, Burus is pretty new into the top 10. He burst in last year, and he's been in there this year as well. I think he's seeded 9th in the tournament. You know, and the biggest knock on him is he plays really solid. He's got a good serve, but he gets really conservative in the big moments.
Looks like we have some bleeding here from John Hughes.
I think I'm winning so far in the
You-
Department
you're
of the
up-
Falls.
Yeah, you're up 1-love.
And that was a pretty scary fall there.
Yes, it was. But also an indication of how much this means to everybody. I mean, here it is, the second point of the match, and he's diving for a ball. There's that great Hughes serve. But who would you think is favored in this match, Brad?
I would have to say that my favorites are Hughes and LePivert. You know, a little more experience. They got a little more offense on the overheads. You know, Burus doesn't. He has an offensive over, but not specifically one that he can count on all the time. Both teams are fast, cover the ground really well.
That's 30-15.
And I would just say going into it, I haven't seen Burus play a lot this year or play with a ton of confidence.
It's not been a great year for them. They really had their bust-out year last year. They've not played well this year. And his partner, Roman Stojsavljevic, is not playing. And there's Burus's blitz. He loves to blitz.
Now, the big thing is if a good high lob goes up, your partner should always keep his eyes forward and call out whether the opposing player is going to blitz or not. Allows you to hit a hard overhead at their feet if they do.
Irdoja's played a lot of backhand in the last few weeks. Let's talk a little bit about the challenges a left-hander in the ad court presents, Brad.
Well, I'm going to actually talk more about the challenges for the net team, because you cannot hit the ball into the side screen nearly as well, and that is such a common attacking shot for most right-handed players into the ad side screen. With the lefty there, his forehand is on the outside of the court, so he has a good chance of attacking any overhead high in the bounce.
Okay, so that's 2-love. Burus Irdoja. We'd have to work on that. Burus Irdoja, not Burus Stojsavljevic, Brad.
That's
I know,
right.
I can sense you're about to make that mistake.
Well, I've just stayed away from it so far.
Just rolls off the tongue. Burus Stojsavljevic.
Burus Irdoja. All right, so I think we're attending a little here to the Hughes wound. Not really sure. But they're getting out there, replacing a grip wrap. And you can see in the background there, Burus and Irdoja having a little conversation. The one shot you do not want to give Burus is a high backhand. And you can see that's how he finished off the point last time. So it's a good start here. I wonder if that injury is going to make a difference in the match, Mark.
Yeah, hard to tell. I mean, obviously it's having an impact now. How do you see the rest of the lineup, Brad? Any matches jump out at you where one team is a serious favorite over another?
Well, I'd have to say on court 5, Kraft and Fay against Morneau and Grangero, I would have to say you'd have to give a pretty
big edge to Region 2.
Big edge to Region 2, which would be Morneau and Grangero. Court 4 is a great match. They just played, as you said, a little bit ago, Lubau and DeRose against Durant and Mitchell.
You're down at Navasink at the PFP event. Durant and Mitchell won in a couple of tie breaks.
So
the thing there is Durant Mitchell really like to play fast, and so do Lubau DeRose. I mean, having a match with DeRose and Durant on the court together is just so much fun.
Oh, yeah. No, that point's going to be fast, a lot of movement. The ball's going to be traveling all over the court. But like you said, it was a tough two-setter. I'd give the edge to Durant and Mitchell.
Yep, I agree.
But, you know, and then Bostrom and Bredberg against Powers Wilkinson. That's a tough team, Powers and Wilkinson.
Yeah, any team that's got Mark Powers on it is a tough team. So I give the edge to Region 1 in that court.
Yeah, so if the way we're looking at it in terms of edge, we would have Region 2 up 2-1. Now we have this match, Hughes and LePivert, Irdoja Burus. We discussed earlier giving the edge to Hughes and LePivert, but right now they're down 2-love. And then Court 1, our number 2 seeds of Orion Parsons against Anderson and Broderick. You technically give the edge to Orion Parsons, but they did lose earlier in the day today to Broderick and Anderson.
Oh, what a spectacular exchange between Hughes and Irdoja.
That's the sign you see. You see Burus move around his forehand to hit the backhand. It's interesting, actually, with the Irdoja and the Burus in the backcourt like that. Should have let that one go to Irdoja. The middle's not completely safe because Irdoja has such a good forehand. And when they switch around, it's still the same. You know, you have to go to Irdoja's side to his backhand and to Burus's forehand. Oh, great dunk, I mean.
And LePivert and Hughes are two of the best athletes on the tour.
Oh, the dropper. Really high dropper there from Hughes. Got away with one.
And I'm not calling that a down, Brad. He was still up on his feet.
That counts.
It's close.
I'm getting a half for that at least. It's 1.5 to 0.
Great point. A lot of great athletes on the court.
Now you see both Irdoja and Burus with a red vest on, and that's sort of their team colors, right? That's the Region 1 team color for today's tournament.
There you get a great view of the background up the hill. The Pittsburgh Field Club's located. And it's interesting, both Hughes and LePivert tend to play a very touchy-feely game. They can both bring the forehand, but they both like to hit a lot of soft balls, chips, blitz.
Yeah, a little blitz, use their speed. They're both extremely fast, Hughes and LePivert.
LePivert's got that extreme Western grip. There's a big ball from Hughes. You can see when the ball's going against the wires.
Nice. That's a great high forehand there from Burus.
Okay, that's 40-15. And that's really the only forehand he likes to drive.
High one off the screen he's got more confidence with now. This is the most fun part about the President's Cup is these players playing with partners they've never played with before or don't often play with. I don't think Burus and Irdoja have ever played together. And I'm not sure LePivert and Hughes have it either. So part of it is their ability to sort of figure out how they want to play together, where they're going to get their offense, shots they're looking for, nice ball. See, there you get Hughes sneaking in, used to a partner hitting a hard down drive, and LePivert hits a rolling high ball, and he gets caught. See, there you get Hughes sneaking in, used to a partner hitting a hard down drive, and LePivert hits a rolling high ball, and he gets caught. See, there you get Hughes.
There's no such thing in my book as too much Brad Easterbrook.
I don't know, it was too much for me. I have to go to bed with myself. I deal with myself every day.
Okay, so LePivert to serve, love 3.
I tell you what, Irdoja and Burus are much more comfortable right now than LePivert and Hughes. They haven't figured out what they're what they're doing. We always laugh a little bit at the LePivert errant toss. You know, that's the one area that he's had for many years. He's gotten much better with it, but it comes up every time we have him on the court.
Worst toss in paddle history, you think?
You know what, especially for a play of that level.
Oh, what a shot.
Now, Mick Irdoja, Mark, you know, the lefty on the far side in the red vest, he's been, you know, near the top of the game for a while. But where do you think he fits in the sort of the pantheon of the top players?
I think he's ready to win a national championship.
You think he just needs a certain kind of partner?
Yep, I just think he hasn't found the right partner yet. I think his athleticism, his hands, his all-around game, I think ultimately he could be a national champion.
I agree with you. The only thing I see from time to time is he gets these loose moments where inexplicably he'll miss like 2 overheads in a row or something, but he is a great player.
30-15.
You know, years ago he burst onto the scene, just a couple of years ago with his partner Dan Regan, and his partner doesn't play as much anymore. So, and he hasn't really found a partner since then, you know, a regular one. He's, you know, but Murnau and Irdoja in this tournament, that's a tricky team. I wouldn't want to face them.
Yeah, they're scheduled to play Martin Bostrom and Blake Anderson in the 16s. Will be a terrific match.
That'll be a great matchup.
Assuming both teams get there, they have tough roads beforehand. So is LePivert going to catch this toss or swing at it, Brett?
I think he's going for it. Look at that. Maybe he
Should've
should have caught it.
Should have caught it.
There you go.
Okay, this is double break point for a 4-love lead. And Brad, we've seen Hughes and LePivert just cutting a lot of overheads, but with no success at all.
I mean, there's not a lot of method to the madness. It's just cutting it. It's not like they're cutting it, moving their opponent out of position and setting anything up. I think part of that is, you know, not playing with a partner that you're used to doing. Oftentimes there's a role player on a team, Mark, whereas here, you know, they're both sort of, and the one guy will cut more overs, the other guy will place more. Here they're kind of both doing everything, but none of it to any great success.
Okay, deciding point. And given how LePivert has served to Irdoja, no, surprised they're
Interesting.
going after Burus.
I
LePivert
am
serves
surprised.
much better to the ad court.
Yep. I would think of the two weapons. Burus, he was smart there. He didn't miss it. But Irdoja's got a thumping forehand, and LePivert's serve to the deuce side is definitely not as strong.
Big point early in the match.
Now this format, because it's a reduced play format, tiebreakers at 5-all, more things can happen. It's quicker with the comebacks, quicker with the turnarounds, huge points when it's a, you know, no ad point and it's the deciding point. It's not deuce and going back to ad. This is it.
That was a really bad series of overheads from LePivert. Just changed sides over and over again. And a sloppy miss from Hughes. It's 4-love. Yeah, their overheads at the net just don't have any rhyme or reason. They're just swinging. And they got themselves in trouble with a real bad overhead to Burus.
Yeah, I can't say Burus and Irdoja are doing anything specifically amazing. They're just making less mistakes and playing more solidly at this point. And Burus should have bailed on that one, let it go through.
Hard ball to get out of the way of.
There's a quick switch at the net.
But LePivert is quick. They're playing way too many balls into the Irdoja forehand.
What's an interesting thing in a team format game here? You know, because we're playing 5 matches here, and the winning team has to win 3 or more, right? So you know, Hughes and LePivert can lose this match 6-love, 6-love, but Region 2 can still win. Just out.
So, Brad, you asked me earlier about Irdoja's game. Let me exchange that to you to LePivert's game.
You know, LePivert's game, he's got some excellent tricks. He's a great blitzer. He loves the low block lob. You know, serve can definitely be erratic. The thing that happens with LePivert is some things are just on or off certain days. Like the forehand goes away sometimes. The forehand return, his ability to play offense. And then he only has the rolling shot. But he is absolutely capable of winning any tournament. I mean, he won the Chicago Charities earlier this year with Juan Araya. He's capable of playing a more offensive style or playing a backseat role. But the things don't always gel all the time.
Yeah, this has been a particularly brutal game for him. 2 missed lobs and a missed volley. And he tends to be very mentally strong. They're just playing really poorly right now.
Fast and loose.
I mean, we're 15 minutes in and it's 5-love.
In a strange way, I have to think that second point knocked to the noggin, basically, that, you know, where Hughes fell into the net post, kind of took some of the starch or energy out. It's hard to get energy going when the first thing that happens to you in the match is you almost get knocked out of the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, they're playing with not a lot of purpose and not a lot of energy right now. But as we said before, it doesn't mean Region 2 isn't going to win, because it is a 5-team matchup here. And we talked about the lines 1 through 5 before.
What exactly are we talking about? Switching balls? I know counting the warm-up as a game sometimes. LePivert may have thought that was 7 games. His math is notoriously bad.
Just missed it. Well, this is where we talk about often, Mark, in a match. You just like to see Hughes and LePivert play a couple of good games. You know, get into the points, play them the way they want to play them. And even if they don't win the set, because it's a tall order for them to win the set.
Yep.
As long as they just get things moving in the right direction, that's a huge thing. On the flip side, we talk all the time about teams coming back from 1-5 down or, you know, being up in a match. And this is a time where if you're players like Irdoja and Burus, don't give them a lot of careless errors to give them a lot of life.
One of the things that's always been amazing to me, Brad, is how little it takes to turn a match around.
It takes 1 or 2 errors or 1 tactical change sometimes.
And it's ironic that we're talking about that in Pittsburgh, because I'm sure you remember the Mike Stulak final when he and Anderson played against Cochran and Marino.
Didn't they
lost
win
the first 9
games in a row? Yeah.
We were
Cochran
talking
and
to
Marino.
Stulak afterwards, and he was saying how he thought they were going to lose love in their national finals.
Goes for the turnaround shot there. Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, in that case, Anderson and Stulak were faulting twice a game. There were a lot of factors there, but they tightened up their game, and then all of a sudden the errors weren't coming so freely from Stulak and Anderson, and Marino and Cochran had to make all their shots, and then it just sort of, they crept right back in and took that title.
And we're inducting Mike Stulak into the Hall of Fame in part because of that win.
Yeah, great player, great competitor.
Okay, so they're on the board.
Yeah, see, to me, though, that wasn't Hughes and LePivert playing a better game. That was Burus and, Irdoja finally saying, hey, we're up 5-love. Let's, hit a few shots here, and they make a few errors. See if it adds to a little life for Hughes and LePivert. We know this format, anything can change incredibly quickly.
We're going to try and get you some scores of the other matches going on. Let's see if Jerry Vion's out there and can get us some information.
I didn't hear anything.
Good discussion of whether it hit him. Decided it didn't.
That's a great lob there. There you go. Hughes trying to hit an off-pace dipping forehand, and Irdoja reads it, gets right up the net, and just stuffs it behind him. That's the danger of the finesse shots. If your opponent's right on top of the net or reads them and you don't get the ball down, then you're very vulnerable. See, there's Irdoja again, all over the net. Ooh. Have you seen LePivert and Hughes hit like a hard ball?
I don't think so.
Like anything that has some starch on it. Everything's sort of like a roller, a little move, but nothing that's actually putting any pressure on it. It's like little nicks, but they're getting hurt more than the other guys. All right, so triple set point here.
Quadruple. Hate to correct you, Brad.
That's correct in the no-ad format, and there it is. Game in first set to Burus and Irdoja.
Okay, we'll be right back, hopefully with a better second set after these messages right here on the APTA Network, presented by eNet Live.
From spinning, to swinging, to throwing, you never know what's next for you. That's why at North Shore Orthopedic Institute, we're always thinking ahead of the curve. From treating the pros to weekend warriors. From minimally invasive procedures to regenerating knee cartilage, helping you wake up pain-free. At North Shore, we're not just here for you now, we're helping you be ready for what's next.
Welcome back to the finals of the Men's President's Cup. We're bringing you line 2 of Region 1 versus Region 2 here at Fox Chapel Racket Club. And Mark, that was an interesting set there. I'm going to use the word interesting. Fill in what that means.
I'm going with brutal, Brad.
Brutal?
Yeah, I just think that LePivert and Hughes played a horrible set. We were talking about a little bit on the break. I don't think that Burus and Irdoja did much. They just imploded.
Oh yeah, I'll give him a break in the injury. Hitting his head. You can see Hughes actually touched in the back of his head right now on the screen. You can see him there, and he's got a lot of little blood on there, and I think that definitely affected the match. It's almost like he's a little tentative, and certainly I didn't see LePivert or Hughes hit one shot with any type of attacking nature. It was more rolling it around, pushing it, and meanwhile, Burus and Irdoja are just crushing it behind him. So we'll see if they got a little more energy here in this second set.
It's a fine line when you're hurt to continue when it's going to inhibit your ability to play the next day. I know Hughes doesn't want to let his teammates down.
He is a great teammate. And in fact, he won one of those deciding matches a couple of years ago, right? I believe it was Hughes and maybe Faisal Rosali.
That's right, in Connecticut at Darien.
That huge match that you talked about. Yep. And so Hughes is there, and he's a great teammate, and he wants to win, but You know, something like that falling to the net post for sure can make a difference.
Well, these first few games of the second set are really going to be important.
Yeah, they just got to get into it. I mean, emotionally too, a little bit.
Some really good lobbing from Burus.
Well, Burus is, you know, one of the things that vaulted him on top is the great backhand and his ability to kind of play good, solid points. Volley really well, lob well, give his opponents very little when he's hitting an overhead.
So you're starting to see a little more of a strategy from Hughes and LePivert, dumping a lot of balls to that Burus forehand.
Yeah, they might be willing to grind a little here and start to try and set up patterns of play.
What was the phrase you used with the overheads in the first set, Brad?
No, they just didn't seem to have any rhyme or reason, or they weren't setting up, you know, specific things from overhead. They're just hitting them.
And changing sides of the court all the time. This
Yep.
looks a little bit better to me. You can see Hughes and LePivert not really comfortable with both of them going back for overheads on multiple occasions.
No, we talked about the whole not having played with this person that many times makes a big difference. Great drop. Oh, good stretch there from Burus.
He moves really well for a big guy.
Yeah, he's 6'3", but he's very light. Great spot backhand.
So here's where we've seen no offense at all from LePivert and Hughes.
Really nothing. And there you see Hughes moving forward, expecting a big drive, but not getting it out of LePivert. Yeah, and even that's a probing drive at best, Mark. You know, he's just spinning it up there. It's not putting pressure on the opponent. So we haven't seen any backcourt pressure at all yet. See if they start feeling comfortable. See, there's another just a probing drive that Hughes would follow up with a quick blitz from time to time, but there's so little of anything else that, you know, they're kind of waiting for the off-pace drives. Great lob there, though. Shot at the crease. That's a good blitz from Burus. And you could hear Hughes try to call it out, but it was a little too late. And we saw this a little bit in Midwesterns. Remember, LePivert likes to let the ball drop.
Yep.
That means it takes longer. Oh, sneaky backhand from Burus. That means it takes longer for the ball to travel, which gives you more time to go in.
So 3 break opportunities.
Oh, geez, that's a loose error. All right. We see Hughes staying positive there. So what's the temperature out there? You think about 25. You got LePivert in a T-shirt. It's a perfect day to get playing.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful evening here in Pittsburgh. Supposed to get warmer and warmer as the weekend goes on. I think this is almost a must game for Hughes and LePivert.
Well, something's got to change for sure. You know, and barring an Irdoja and Burus just, you know, giving it away. And I don't think they're at this point, they're going to want to take it home. They're going to have to find something, some way to develop some offense. Oh, perfectly measured.
Look at the current weather, 29 degrees, feels like 24. Slight wind of 5 miles an hour.
Be playing in a t-shirt there, Mark?
And shorts.
Shorts, that's impressive. Although I've seen your leg tan, so I'd prefer the sweatpants.
Jeez, Brad, this is just ugly. Bunch of misses there from LePivert. That's worse than my legs.
That was rough, but great first volley that time from Burus.
Who picked this match, Brad?
All right, that is 8 games to 1 so far, so it's 2-love in the second set for Burus and Irdoja.
LePivert served there. Burus had his back to him.
Oh, there's a great ball into the nick.
With the first good shot they've hit.
Well, at least he attacked it, so that's what I need them to see. I'd rather see them start hitting the ball and doing something. There's another. That's the third.
That counts.
Fourth?
Four.
I would say that's 4. I would count that. I agree. Oh, that's a good look.
Just a terrible overhead, though.
Well, it was a terrible overhead, but Burus just netted it, but they got lucky.
30-love. So initially they were dumping a lot of ball to the Burus forehand this set, but they seem to have gotten away from it.
Yeah, and Irdoja, since that point when they did that, I mean, they did it literally for about a 1.5 mark. It wasn't like it stayed for very long. But since that time, you see Irdoja cheating to the middle more, looking for his forehand. That is actually a great shot, the Irdoja forehand. He hits it with a lot of spin, can flatten it out on a high ball.
And Irdoja won't hurt you with that backhand. Almost never hits it.
I don't think I've ever seen him, except for a high ball that's moving forward off the screen. He'll hit it down and throw a blitz behind it, but pretty much that's it.
Those big cut overheads, they're just not accomplishing anything.
Burus has been nonplussed by any of them. Thinking there might be a Burus blitz here pretty soon. LePivert's letting every overhead drop. That's when the team starts to look. You got that one higher. Good job. It's the mix and keeping your opponent off balance that matters.
That's a good play right there.
Yeah, Irdoja could have made a little faster play at that ball. Got a little late, and then an easy drop shot there for LePivert. Great shot. All right, there's a game for LePivert and Hughes. And it's now 2-1 in the second set for Burus Irdoja. See if they can build on that a little bit.
You see Jerry Viance come in, shivering. I don't know what she's complaining about, Brad. Are you cold?
I'm not cold at all, Mark, but
I don't understand.
you cuddle up nicely and help keep me warm, so I appreciate
Always,
that.
Brad. Always there for you.
So we're going to have to go and think here that, I mean, you called that a must hold, and that was a big game for Hughes and LePivert. And like we said, in this format, it is never over. Did that hit Hughes?
No, I think it missed him. I think he got that leg in the air, but it was close.
Love 15, so it did miss him.
He was smiling about that.
Yep, because Hughes and LePivert can turn this around. When a no-ad format and the quick, fast games and sets, anything can happen. Oh, great drop.
Hughes managed to avoid running into the net, which was a big step forward.
Very good deception on that drop through. You just deadened it.
Did a nice job shanking it, too.
30-15.
All right, that's at least a good strike there from LePivert. He hit that forehand harder. See if they can gain some foothold and some offense in that backcourt.
And you got the team in the backcourt switch from their normal sides. So you really got to avoid that Irdoja forehand over there.
It's actually, I like this look for them too, because you know, when the ball goes out wide to the Burus forehand, it's harder to get it there without hitting it down, and that's the one shot he can hit.
30-all.
Oh, it was a
Big
good
miss
move.
right there. Would have been 2 break opportunities.
But what I like seeing about Hughes there is the first time I've seen him put more energy into the move. I really do think he's been very tentative based on the injury earlier. All right, that's quick hold. So they had a little opportunity there, but
Oh, that's
Wow.
some serve. What a get.
oh,
Again, big spin overhead. Put him in a dangerous position.
yep. Yeah, he knows it. He's not happy about that one. He needs to pinpoint that overhead deep and long into the second panel so it spins out to the side wire. I wanted the third panel and basically stayed high.
15-all.
I oftentimes think, Brad, that at President's Cup, sometimes you get previews of teams that are going to play together next year. Guys that are comfortable, have fun together.
Interesting.
15-30.
And having said that, I think it's unlikely we're going to see Hughes and LePivert playing together.
I guess you could take the other. You also see teams that you're not likely to see play together.
15.
But that was just a routine volley. LePivert missed there. They're in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, and that is a great return, but you can see Hughes catching that ball behind him. Just not engaged in this one. I think from the get-go, from that injury, they haven't been engaged.
See him looking at his hand there as they change sides.
All right, so we're at what I consider probably another must-win game here at this point.
They're all must-win games right now.
Yeah. Oh! He went for the heavy cutter. He's been trying that today. You will see guys go for some shots they don't normally play in tournament play, and that's not a normal shot for Hughes. He has it to a little bit of degree, but not to that level where you can pull it out at a crucial moment. That's how I sort of define whether you own the shot or not, whether you do it when you're down love 40 or 15-40, or whether you're match point down or not.
Just not willing to commit to really hitting any balls, are they, Hughes and LePivert?
I haven't seen two hard forehands at all.
That was a great example. Well, the court was open, and he could have really hit that forehand. Instead, he guided it.
And then he cuts it off and slams the volley back, and you're in more trouble than you would have been had you not hit it to begin with. At least that he struck. So if you're going to go down, at least at this point in time, try to get something going, whatever it may be. Commitment to a strategy or something. But yeah, I'm going to go back to the injury. I really do think it made all the difference in the world here.
And you think that hurt LePivert games also?
You know, sometimes it can.
Yep.
You know, meaning, you know, LePivert maybe at some point in time in the match, Mark might have been, all right, come on, John, let's do this. You know, we're down here. But, you know, the guy just fell into the net post, so he doesn't know how hard he wants to push him in a scenario like this. So you're not seeing a lot of energy coming from LePivert, like, you know.
Good to see Hughes smiling a little bit there.
Sure, that ball was out.
15 up.
Ball was called good, though, by the umpire, so now it's 30 love for LePivert. I think Burus liked it that much. Oh, that is just a great ball there, perfectly placed. If you're going to hit a dunk overhead, you want to get it to the middle side so it falls near the side wire. And that was done perfectly. And then I think Burus a little angry about that call before the overrule. He just
had enough of that game.
Whacked it. So it's 5-2.
They'll serve for the match.
5 games to 2.
It looks like Irdoja are done.
Did we see that final point? Were you able to catch that at the top of our screen?
I think Durant Mitchell won that match.
Oh, I did see DeRose whack the ball out of the court, but that doesn't necessarily mean they lost. But
I'm going to try and get confirmation on that for everybody.
oh, that's a great transition ball. Oh,
That match had to have been impressively something to finish
because
this match.
is not exactly grinding or going long. I agree with you 100%. So one way or the other, that was a blowout. See, we haven't seen that shot that we just saw from Irdoja out of either Hughes or LePivert, like sticking the ball,
Yep.
placing it with pace and purpose. Oh, that's so tricky. You see the, oh, great drop volley there. Good read. So overall, and see, there you saw Burus hit a off-pace drive. How many off-pace drives have been useful in this match so far, Mark?
Very few, Brad.
Yeah, because you got to set up the off-pace drive with combinations of attack and combinations of deep lobs. It can be useful, the off-pace drive.
But it's only useful in combination of the hard drive.
Right. If all you do is hit off-pace drives, you're going to just get swallowed up. Great read there from Irdoja.
15-30.
Looked like he might have reached over the net, but we had no angle on that.
It's hard to see. I would think he would have called it if he did. Or they would have even questioned, wow, what a volley. Great read. Irdoja all over that net.
And that's some of the athleticism I see out of him that makes me think he could win a national championship.
Oh, I'm in full agreement with you. I think he is right there with a certain partner.
That's very decisive of you, Brad.
Well, Mark, you know, it's a new day. Okay, I'll get back to you tomorrow. Oh, holy moly, he's blaming the back screen on that.
Clearly it was the black screen's fault. Two points from the match.
To see this get interesting, see if LePivert and Hughes can steal this, maybe get a game here. Curious to see what happens if any pressure gets put on Burus and Irdoja. Because right now it's just been such smooth sailing. Oh, nice dig. Oh.
And for me, Brad, this is one of the reasons that I think that we shouldn't be apologizing for let cords anymore, because you've seen very little go the Hughes LePivert way because they're not driving the ball.
No, and if they are, it's been so soft. Even the let cord wouldn't really have much effect. It would just sort of pop right up. You know, let cords only matter when the ball moves off the net quick enough. So it's break point, I believe, here.
Two of them.
Yeah. Oh, this. All right. That's a measure of interest. If we see a little pressure, things can go. Burus and Irdoja haven't had to play well yet. If Hughes and LePivert can just start to make them have to make and play well, things could be completely different. Oh.
15, 12.
All of a sudden, all the volleys they were making, they're
Yeah.
not making right now.
Well, you got to win your matches. You can't expect your opponent to lose it for you. And now the errors mount.
30, 12.
Curiouser and curiouser. Come on, there's your literary reference. Come on, what's that from? I don't really know, but I'm guessing Alice in Wonderland.
Seems like a likely guess.
I think it's often good for viewers to see. There's that another off-pace drive just getting hammered by the net team. You see LePivert on that before Burus even finishes stroke even. And then it's a put-away drop volley. So I was about to say, though, it's good to watch the backcourt team here. Wow, 5-4.
Huge turnaround.
And I'd like to say Hughes and LePivert are playing really well to get back, but
Irdoja,
all they're doing is
5 games to 4.
putting a few more balls in play.
Switch the ball up here.
And isn't that the remarkable part of the game, Brad? Just getting the ball in play is so important. Doesn't have to be anything fancy.
5,
Well,
4.
yes, but we've also talked about how many drop shot winners they've hit off-pace drives. So the shot you do play makes a difference, but yes, it is a game of errors for sure.
Okay, so Burus will serve for the match. Again, this is the second time they've done this.
Yeah,
at
they were up
5-4.
5-1 at one point.
I always feel like the first point of the game is so important.
Oh,
Great lob, Hughes.
it's just gotten loose on the other end here. That was a little lack of footwork.
Burus has one of the best righty serves in the country to the ad court.
Yeah, it's good. There are very few players who feel confident enough to sneak up the wire to do it. I haven't seen LePivert even try it. There's a hit, though. I like that from LePivert. Look at that backcourt movement now. All of a sudden. That's good overhead. Nice. Oh,
Another miss from Irdoja.
how about that? Love 30. That's 7 points in a row, or 8 points in a row
Yeah.
for Hughes and LePivert. I tell you, it would be amazing if this became the deciding match somehow, Mark. And it were 2-all. That would change the energy. It's already changed. You can see it. Nice close by.
LePivert just right there with the paddle.
That's a good combination. Draw him up and then push him back.
Wow.
How about that?
4 chances to even the set and send us into a tiebreak.
How about that?
Now, you saw this coming, right, Brett?
Well, I didn't see it coming, but I did say if. They could put a little pressure on him. Oh, the 1 inch off the ground, gonna dink it over the net.
You don't think Coach Jim Kaufman liked that shot?
That's a toughie right there. Nice dig. Oh, great shot there.
30,
And
40.
that's where LePivert struggles, that he plays real close to the net, but he tends to reach too much. 2 break points gone. 2 more to go, potentially.
And what's really exciting about this format is if Irdoja and Burus win this point, the point's going to be match point, which is right now, or game point to get to 5-all, and we'll go to a tiebreaker. So it's really exciting. So this is match point and break point right here.
A couple of really bad decisions from Hughes.
Oh my
There it
goodness. That is a strange turn of events right there. Okay, well, 6-1, 6-4 for Burus and Irdoja.
6-1.
Okay, well, keep an eye out on platformtennis.org, our website, to find out who wins tonight. And we'll be back tomorrow starting at 9:30 with the women's round of 64. And I'll be back with a definitive Brad Easterbrook. And that's a wrap, delivered by Uline.